My QB4 is Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. So Garrett Nussmeier is a lot of people's QB3s, and that's fine. I think that's okay. LSU Tigers played 5 seasons there, but only started 23 games in a 5-season sample size, which is kind of just sad to me. I would have loved to see more than 23 starts where he went 15-8, which kind of leaves a lot to be desired. It was always just kind of, you just were waiting for more from Nussmeier, and I still think people are, and this is why I'm warning people to not get too high on him, because he is 24.1 years old. He is only 6'2", and he is only 203 pounds. He's an underrated arm, good arm strength, NFL arm for sure, but he's a gunslinger, too much of a gunslinger mentality, and I think he's still getting, similar to Klubnik, I think he's still getting propped up from just kind of like name recognition and being a good recruit, being a high recruit, and he's more of just an idea. I think he's just an idea that people are still clinging to because they want to see him be good and they want to see him succeed, because we've seen flashes of him being really good. The first Clemson game of the season, he was great. He lit him up there. Some of the balls he was throwing on the run there, that one across his shoulder, was fantastic. He looks the part, every bit the part of a franchise quarterback. He's the son of an offensive coordinator, Doug Nussmeier, down on the Saints, so that he's been around football, been around the game his whole life, gets the coach's son label, smart, high IQ processor. He's just never put it together over the course of a full season. He had one good season at LSU, and it was still kind of where he only had a 64 completion percentage. He upped that to 67.4 this season. Let's go over the stats. 67.4 completion percentage. Only 6.7 yards per pass, though. And I know the receiving core was not great this year at LSU. The receiving core was not good compared to years past where he had, like, absolute stars there. 1,900 passing yards. He was struggling to hit to 200 yards passing, like, every game, it felt like, before the season-ending injury, which didn't even look like an injury. He just, you could see him, like, arguing with the coach, the interim coach on the sidelines, and just some of the plays he made in the Alabama game to lose them that game were just, I can't unsee some of those plays, and just some horrendous decisions that it was like, this feels like a similar QB to Klubnik and Aller, where lights come on, this guy is a shell of himself. This guy cowers, and this guy just falls apart. I want to believe Nussmeier can do it. I don't have enough sample size to trust him. And even having him at QB4 is kind of high for me. Like, I personally think this is higher than he probably should be, but, like, this kind of shows how bad the class is, and not to be rude, but that's kind of the fact of the matter. 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 15 sacks, 133.8 passer rating. Never really lit it up. Again, the 2024 tape was better than the 2025 tape. His completion percentage was only 64 last year. His adjusted rate is 77.4, which is good. Again, that's what you want to see. It's above the threshold you want to see. But he never graded well PFF-wise. Only a 77.1 this year. PFN score has him as 75.9, and the QBR has him lowest as a 71.9. Wins above average only a 0.073. I kept wanting to see more from Nussmeier, and it felt like it feels like the only reason he's even in the top 5 quarterbacks in this class is because what he did at the Senior. And it feels like we're just putting way too much stock into one Senior Bowl game where he played a couple snaps with like 3 other quarterbacks and had a couple good drives. I value the actual college season and what he did at LSU for 5 years more than like a couple plays down in Mobile, Alabama in January or whatever. So that's just me, but I understand why people are still intrigued and why they still think, I keep saying meat on the bone, but why they keep thinking there's meat on the bone. So let's look at the combine test results here. So production score was 63 only, which was 13th in the class. Not great. Athleticism score was 72, which was 11th in the class. And the total score was a 70, which was also 11th in the class. So not a great combine. Again, not really blowing up physical traits are like not really testing well physicality wise, or like the tools are fine. Again, the arm is what he's got going for him most, because he does have underrated arm talent and can make all the throws. But I just feel like we're still clinging to the fact that he's had good flashes in his career. And these are the strengths I'll get into now. So he has that underrated arm talent, and he has shown very good flashes in his career, but it's never been consistent enough for me. Last strength, which I think is, this is definitely in his favor for better or worse, but he is the son of an NFL offensive coordinator, Doug Nussmeier. So I could see the Saints, taking a chance maybe. I know they got Shuck, but that's a team fit I have for him is the Saints and the Steelers. So I've also seen he's got some ties to Mike McCarthy over in the past. So I've seen the Steelers clinging to him a little bit. That's a strength in his favor, but I don't know if that's like a good strength. Like, I don't necessarily think you want nepotism to be the reason you draft a quarterback. That's just me personally. But if you take him for that reason, then so be it. I think expecting him to have – he had 5 – okay, here's the weakness. He was way too inconsistent over 5 full seasons. 5 full seasons. This is not a young prospect who's just coming out after his 3rd year. He's 24 already. And he had 5 years to have a good season at LSU, and he never really did. Again, 2024, you could say that was a good season, whatever. I expected more out of him, and I just still think it's just he's not consistent enough. He is one of those players where it's like, if you draft him super high, you're telling me the games don't matter. And you are literally saying to yourself, the games do not matter. We do not care about the results that happen on the field. We're just going to take him because we think this idea project of him could be really good someday. Too much of a gunslinger mentality. And like I said, age and size are not on his size. He measured in at 6'2", looks smaller than that. I've seen him look listed at 6'1" in the past. And then he's already 24, which is older than Drake May and Caleb Williams and Jackson Dart. So, like I said, I think he had plenty of chances to be better and show something at LSU, and he never did. I'm almost impressed by myself that I even have him at QB4 because I do see the fundamentals. I see the fundamentally sound quarterback. I see the footwork, the arm talent, the accuracy. Like, I get the picture and I see the idea of it, but it's like you got to put it together over the course of a full season, and you actually have to actually win games and elevate others. And he just didn't win enough games in the SEC, did not elevate others, and a little bit of a questionable attitude. I think you could look back at his body language in the Alabama game. Some awful, awful body language of the guy after some poor decisions that he made, kind of throwing his teammates under the bus and just not even looking his coach in the eye when he was talking to him. So didn't love that. So he will get asked about that in interviews. So that's something right there. But I do have a 4th-round grade on him, his NFL production outlook. 4th-round grade, I think he will go higher than that. I wouldn't take him any higher than that, but I mean, I understand if a team does it in the 3rd. I think that's a mistake. My player comp for him, it's funny, you talk about the Saints as a team fit. Spencer Rattler is my comp for him because I think they're just kind of the same build of quarterbacks, same style, same exact mindset too. Both a gunslinger, a little bit of a little attitude sometimes, but they both have the gunslinger mentality, similar arm strength, similar just kind of rip it, sling it type of guys, and both in the state of Louisiana. There you go.